So I start to build my life.
Okay.
I'm out in Vegas. I'm doing my thing. I don't see anybody from basically the past really. Even Corvain, right? Because when I had gone to jail and I got out, I moved to Vegas, and so I quit the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm enrolled in school. I'm crushing it. I create a charity that's helping thousands of kids. I'm partnered with the, NBA, NFL players, schools, universities, all these big brands, vitamin waters, like the whole nine. I was building a brand, which was Jump for Joy. And then about 4 years and 7 months, I get arrested on this 40 tons thing because of something that had happened years back, like almost 7 years ago.
Oh, shit.
But I could only prove that I was out of it 4 years and 7 months, and the statute was 5 years. So then I ended up getting pulled back into a bunch of bullshit that I had nothing to even do with from 6-7 years back.
Right.
And unfortunately, that caused me to have to, do time. It took Corvain away for life. And it completely just rocked my world.
Right. I could only imagine.
Yeah.
Like the family, like you guys are on a whole different wavelength with the family, the children, everyone.
It wasn't like I was like, double dipping and like still doing, it wasn't like that. I really quit the game. I built an organization that I could have put everybody on.
Yeah.
Like, it was $1 million organization.
So did they ship you back to California?
Well, no, we went to, the state that the crime was, where the case was out of, right?
Got you.
And so then when I finally got to prison, I got shipped back to California prison in Lompoc. And so usually, they try to put you into a prison that is like within a certain geography of like where your family is,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They try to do that.
Sure.
Especially in the feds, because, the feds are all over the United States. So like, if you get busted in Florida, but you live in Iowa, they're going to try to ship you to like a prison as close to Iowa as possible.
Okay.
Right. So that happened. I lose everything. I lose the foundation. I lose the gym. My partners turn on me. And it sucks. I have to go through everything that I just went through again. And thankfully, I fought the case while I was out, and I had an ankle monitor on for almost 2 years. The judge allowed me to stay out until I finished college.
Oh, okay.
So college was like a really...
like a saving grace per se?
It was. And I ended up graduating and getting the Outstanding Graduate Award. I was the guy that was honored on stage in front of 2,600 students, sitting next to Jimmy Kimmel, because that year he got a honorary doctorate.
Oh, nice.
And funny speech. Like Jimmy Kimmel's giving your college speech. It was super dope.
Right, I can only imagine.
It was fire. And I'm getting honored by the president of the university on stage at the Thomas and Mack Center, which is like the Staples Center. Yeah. Gown on, all the bells and whistles. I'm being honored as like their most outstanding student.
With an ankle monitor underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll try to see if I could send you the picture.
All right, cool.
Here, but like with an ankle monitor on, and the irony doesn't fall short. Like I'm going to prison
right after.
And the day I finished my last class, on press to the university, I had been in the newspaper and or the news over 130 times in the 2-year period prior to that.
Yeah.
To now have to go to jail. Now, thankfully, all of that during my sentencing super came into play, because it was like this whole, like, who the hell is this man that presented 80 character letters and has showed that he's been on the news 120 times doing this charity work that he's doing, and like they're like, who is this guy? Like, this is, what they're painting him to be versus what all this documentation to show who he's been is not the same.
Yeah.
So that actually was a saving grace, but nonetheless, I have to go away, and boom, we go away and we lose freedom and back to square one again.
And how did that affect your mental state of like, I can't catch a break?
It really fucked me up. I thought exactly like that, like, God damn. And it's like, it's not even due to things of like my flagrance. It's due to like things that I have no control over and like shitty past friends. You know what I mean? Like it had nothing to do with my incompetence or nothing to do with my flagrance.
Sure.
Right? And so I was like, fuck, it really sucked being out of the things for so long, not even physically speaking to any of these people for over 5-6 years, right?
And that's the reality of things too. Like when they're like building a case, like they're when they are building cases, right? Like you said, to your point, right? There might be folks that are completely out of it, and
that's called a conspiracy.
Shit just comes right back.
So the conspiracy, let's say, lasts from 2010 to 2023. That's a 13-year period. Danny was a part of the conspiracy from 2012 to 2014. Has been out. It doesn't matter. You're guilty of all of it.
Yeah.
Right? And you could have been the guy that just installed the alarm system to the guy that moved the illegal contraband over the border. It doesn't matter. You're all charged the same. And that's where shit gets fucked off. And that's where you need good attorneys and, you know, the abilities to be able to fight it on all these little different technicalities and, and all that. So that's the messed up part of the justice system. No one's saying that if you commit a crime that's breaking a law, that there's not punishments.
Sure.
But when the punishments don't fit the crimes and people are being praised, people are making billions of dollars off of the same thing that many of us had to go lose our lives over, that's when you have to question the fairness of it.
Right.
And so that came into mind. But what I will tell you, though, is that on that last one, I got ultra right on mind and body.
Right.
I started reading books. I started writing reviews of each book. I read hundreds of books. I was getting books sent in, so I was getting all this knowledge.
Yeah.
And all those books that I read during that stint gave me massive amounts of knowledge. It was like going to college all over again. You know what I mean? So I took that time to read good books, and not just the bullshit books, not just the fiction books, but like real autobiographies, biographies, how-tos, self-help, business, leadership, all of these different types of books.
Yeah.
And later on in life, just reading those individual books is an icebreaker to talk to anybody if you've read that book. Because now we can share that book
for sure.
And when you can do that across thousands of books, your network starts to open up.
And if you haven't read that book, then that's something for you to be like, encourage them to read it, to gain that knowledge or put up on game, right? For whatever it is you guys are talking about.
So once all the rigmarole of like, how much time you're going to get and this and that was over with, and now it's time to just go do the time.
Yeah.
At that point, it was all focus.
Yeah.
It was all, let me get my mind right. Let me get my body right. Let me take advantage of the fact that I get to sleep for 12 hours a day. Let me take advantage of the fact I get to read, that I get to do all these things. You know what I mean? It was a blessing that I got to have all that time to myself to just self-educate. Right. And so I use that as my way of coping with not being in freedom. Right. And so I read and I worked out and I played sports and I met good people and I chopped it up with a lot of people and used that time to really take my mind so that when I got out, I was ready to go. I already knew what I wanted to do. I'd already done businesses and this before, so now I knew what I wanted to do, and I just went to work when I came home. And I started doing entrepreneur work again and, doing merchant services and ATM machines and this and that. And, my buddies who had businesses put me on and then, what didn't work.
And when you got out, were you back in Vegas or were you still in Vegas once you got out?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went back to Vegas. I did the halfway house time. I did like 5.5 months at the halfway house. And then, I was ready. I was ready, and I ended up catching a break and met a dude that put me into the logistics business.
Okay.
And so I ended up moving to San Francisco while my family was still in Vegas for a couple of months to get this Amazon Prime Now thing started. And this was when Amazon first brought Amazon Prime Now, which was their 1 and 2 hour delivery.
Yeah.
So I opened up San Francisco hub Amazon Prime Now before Amazon even knew what they were doing.
Now, was it easy to move away because it had already been consistent in a way? As fucked up as that sounds, but because it's been consistent where you were away from the family for, X amount of years, that decision to move to San Francisco for this job opportunity, did it make it a little easier because of that? That was a random ass thought, I know, but
being a serial entrepreneur is a gift and a curse. It's a curse because at any given time you're ready to get up and go because you see the dollar signs.
Yeah, for sure.
I had an opportunity that literally could make us millions, and it did. And I'll tell you the story about how we ended up losing that opportunity. But at the time, all I saw was this is an opportunity for me to make millions of dollars.
And what was the conversation like with your partner, with L'Oreal, and of course we're going to have an interview with L'Oreal alone to really also get that side as well. But what was that like? Was it because with me and my partner, when I'm the same exact way, right? When I see an opportunity, let's fucking go. And then it's her having to say yo, hold on, slow your roll. We got the kids. We got to figure this shit out.
Yeah. So
what was that? How did you navigate that?
So L'Oreal has always been a ride or die chick. And she's always supported me in everything that I've done with grief.
Right. Right.
But rightfully so. I put her through enough grief for her to give it back. But she always supported me, and she knew that if this is what you want to do, then go after it. And I've always been a provider. So no matter what, even from jail, even from when I was in the streets, even from when I was, doing things I shouldn't have been doing, I always took care of the family. And that's something that I'm really big on because I grew up in a single mother household. So did she.
Yeah.
And so, taking care of our family is something that was really important to us, and keeping our family together through all the bullshit and not giving up and not quitting. So that those are core values that are really strong with us. And so she gave me her apprehensions, but at the same time too, she knew that it was a really good opportunity.
Sure.
And that opportunity opened up to another opportunity where we got the contract in San Diego. So now we moved to San Diego.
Nice.
From Vegas. And we opened up Amazon Prime Now, and we crush it. We build something from, 25 drivers to 500 drivers, 1 and 2 hour delivery, 1,500 deliveries a day, 98% PDR, lowering our CPD cost.
What's PDR?
Perfect delivery rate.
Okay.
Right. So whatever the metric is that qualifies as a perfect delivery, meaning, pulled from the inventory, delivered to the customer.
Yeah.
Button on the app pushed as delivered, whatever that metric is. With Amazon, it was 1 or 2 hours from the point of purchase. Then that's considered a perfect delivery rate. If you're 1 second late, you have a negative PDR, so it counts against you. So always trying to keep your PDR up while lowering your CPD, which is your cost per delivery, increasing your DPH, which is your deliveries per hour. I learned all of that.
Yeah.
And so that moved me to San Diego, and I'm now back in action. I'm now back as an entrepreneur. All the bullshit is all behind me.
Yeah.
I'm completely eliminated from it all. There's no more coming back to get me because I've
done your time.
I've done my time. It's over. And then I enroll into the university in San Diego to get my master's degree.
Nice. Okay. And so you go through that, and then from that, are you still communicating with Corvain? What does that look like throughout this time frame? And is that the development of the brand?
It is. And so I got to get myself on my feet first.
Right.
And during this time, he and I are calling each other Collect. Well, he's calling me Collect.
Yeah.
And this dude's acting like he's in the club when he calling me, I got recorded conversations that you'd be like, this dude in a freaking maximum security prison with murders every day, and he's just talking as if it's the club. We're trading stocks. You know what I mean? He's always trying to put me on to the latest stock tip and do this and do that. So, you know, we flip like a couple $100 to a few $1,000s, and we lose a few $1,000s and we make a few $1,000s.
Did you buy into Amazon at the time when you were starting this shit up?
You know, I was stupid and should have and never did, dude.
It's all good, man. You know,
I'm pissed off about it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I hit the sore mark, dude, there, huh?
Sore mark. My son owns about like 40, 50 shares. He's 18. He's purchased it, but I wish I would have did that.
Right.
Oh my goodness. So we're trading stocks and we're trying to figure out what to do. And, you know, he's got the guys in there doing the whole E-minis, and it was hilarious. And so, yeah, we just built this, you know, this friendship even more, and, you know, helping him out, sending him books, magazines, pictures, whatever, you know, kind of being like his go-to guy, you know, because there was a lot of advocacy that was going on at the time. And it was all fragmented. And so this charity was working over here and that charity was working over here. And, you know, these charities didn't get along with that charity. And it was just all this kind of tumultuousness with his advocacy. And what I started to realize was we need to centralize that.
Yeah.
Right. And so then he gave me power of attorney to make sure that, you know, everything was straight. And we got this opportunity to build a brand. And someone approached us and said, we'll do your manufacturing, distribution, cultivation, but we won't build you a brand. You have to go do that yourself. And then 3 months later, I presented them with an 18-page brand deck that blew them away. And they were like, this is better than any brand deck we even have internally.
Yeah.
And so then we went to work. That deal ended up not working out for us. And it wasn't the right deal, and it wasn't the right partners. And
how did you figure, like, for those that are like looking to get into like developing like these partnerships with you know, folks, like what were some of the red flags that you noticed that made it like, you know what, let's
well, not to bash anybody or anything like that, but, you know, it's the people you go into business with. So just because they have a facility or just because they have business doesn't mean that they're the right people.
Sure.
You know, and when they're all about themselves, and they're not about the collective, you know, a rising tide floats all boats. So it shouldn't matter what other things that we're doing or what other things are happening. If we're all working together to push the mission to get our friend out of prison, then it doesn't matter at that point, right?
Yeah.
And so you got to really work with the right people and finding those right people that don't take advantage, or, you know, if a mistake is made, okay, we could talk about it. Like, let's communicate. So it's really about the people and vetting the people first, to see if these are people that you can work with. As far as the business is concerned, you're just going to have to learn it. You're going to have to learn the supply chain. You're going to have to learn the tumultuousness of the way that, you know, the inventory in this market works. $1,000 a unit 1 month, the next month, 200 a unit, you know, dealing with things like that, competition, all the factors of business in the cannabis industry are there, but it's really about the people. And so, you know, it didn't work out with those people. We're thankful for those people. They taught us a lot of lessons,
sure,
as well as gave us opportunities to even, like, if it wasn't for them, there would be no brand, because they told me, go build this brand. This is why Corvain's in jail. Go build this brand, come back with a brand, and then we'll do all that for you. So I never would have went and did that had they not pushed us to go and do that. So I'm always thankful for those people.
Yeah.
But I just don't rock with them, you know? And so then we had to meet the next group of people, and the next group of people came around, and, you know, it was a good situation. And then you just learn this cannabis industry is not for the faint at heart. There's no money in it. At the surface level, you really got to put a lot of hard work, time, effort, and your own cash into this thing, and it's not easy. And so we had to learn that, you know what I mean? And we're thankful for those partners.
So you came into this thinking like, you know, this is gonna be a cash cow, this is gonna be this, or did you learn that throughout your time in developing products?
I would say both.
Okay.
I never thought of it as a cash cow, because each group of people that we worked with at every stage taught us the game, or at least taught us their portion of the game. So they were intelligent folks.
Sure.
But at the same time, too, I didn't realize how tumultuous it is, and the way compliance works, and the way that you're taxed at every single level, and how you can spend $100 and something thousand on a single batch of 50 pounds and make only $2,000.
Yeah.
You spend $140,000. that when everything's all said and done, and you have to move the 50 pounds, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're in eighths, right, that's
a lot.
That's
if
8,000.
If it's an eighth, you're looking at 22,000 or 2,240 units of eighths to make the 50 pounds.
So there you go, right? Yeah. So whatever that math equates to, you got to sell that too, and then you're only making $2,000 to $3,000, right? Because of the position that we're in terms of being a white labeler. So we needed to learn that.
Yeah.
And so I got, I'm a master's degree. I have the basic business savvy, but it doesn't prepare you for the cannabis industry in terms of supply chain.
Yeah.
Right. You got to learn that by going through it.
Right.
And so we did that. And, we always knew that we had to be bigger than just products. We had to be bigger than just selling weed. We needed to become advocates because we're advocating for my friend who has a life sentence. And so this is when Clubhouse was really popping, and I'm on Clubhouse every day asking people to sign the petition. I'm centralizing the advocacy with all the groups. I'm making sure that it's just one message, you know what I mean? And really trying to make sure that Corvain gets out. And we end up getting them out. Trump signs the paperwork. And then from there, we just build this brand out. I would say about 6 to 7 months into Corvain being home, I came up with the idea of these career conferences, and I met a guy named Brandon Mitchell and Will Sims at the time, and these guys were in the whole resume world, recruiting world, and I was like, they were young bulls and they had a lot of really good ideas, and then we meshed my idea with that idea to take it to the next level of doing these career conferences. And of course the team loved the idea, and so we've been full force on these career conferences, which is really the bread and butter of what we do in our brand. Got you.
So you went from developing the products and let's just take that step back real quick with the production of your products. Or do you guys have a hands-on approach as to what goes into the packaging?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Do you guys, or is that all left to
now? We do.
Now you do.
So over all of the deals that we've ever had, no, we haven't. It's been we're the creators of the music, but we had to wait for the label on when we had to put the album out, kind of thing, right?
And is that just because of the nature of the business where you have to you have to work with licensed partners and so
yes
in that?
And no. Yes and no. Yes, in the sense of we obviously have to work with licensed partners, sure. But no in the sense of we're not funded. So if you're a company that's a manufacturer or a cultivation or a distribution and you want to help us, okay, but you're going to probably run that and pick what you think is best because you're putting up all the money to help us, which we appreciate and we're thankful for. But in doing that, we've learned that if we're not hands-on, then when things do go wrong, we can take responsibility for it. So if we didn't pick the weed and the weed's shit, whose fault is that? Right. So it's
and in the eyes of the consumer, it's yours.
Correct. Right. And we've never put shit weed in our bags, but we have put overpriced weed in our bags.
Sure.
Because when we purchased it, it was at one level in the market. By the time that it got to the shelves and a couple months go by, a wholesale unit of the same type of weed has gone down 50%.
Yeah.
So now I can't adjust my prices because I don't have the dollars to be able to do that. But when you're a big brand, you could take a loss on a thing like that.
Right.
So it puts us in this really horrible position. So then we moved to the big leagues, signed to a really big distributor, really good people over there at this distribution. And unfortunately with them, it was post-COVID. They went through what they went through with, losing some big accounts that made it to where what they wanted to do with us to help us, they just couldn't because of the way that the industry was moving at the time. And bless their hearts, they really, really helped us. They really put us into position. Their leadership is an incredible leadership team, but it just doesn't work as a la carte white labeling, meaning separate cultivator, separate manufacturer, separate distributor, separate everything because of the astronomical costs.
Yeah, and so
let me get this. That.
Yeah, so let me get this straight then. So, and for those listening and watching, you're a brand that needs to reach out and seek all this? Like, you need to white label everything because you guys don't own a license?
Correct.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Correct. So we don't have a license. So we do a licensing agreement with those that we do. And, we sell our intellectual property to be able to do that. And then with that,
do you have to sell your intellectual property?
Well, you don't sell it. You give them the rights to use it at whatever the agreed upon amount is. So, I
ask that because it's important if, like, as you move on to like other states, like, what does that look like for your IP? And we'll touch on that, but that's why I wanted to.
Well, it's the cookies model, right? Like, they were geniuses what they did, right? They didn't have the licenses. They partnered with the cultivators and then created their brand around that, right? Just like a lunch pail. Just like, Disney doesn't own the lunch pails, the lunch pail company does, but the lunch pail company buys the rights to the Disney IP to put the Disney IP on the lunch pail to now sell it. Gotcha. So it's that kind of a situation.
So then it's up to you as a brand to make the brand visible, to make it attractive for a licensing partner to want to
do that.
Gotcha.
But in cannabis, there's all these different issues with the supply chain. It's not like you're just going and buying wholesale lunch boxes, right, and slapping your logo on it. There's all these different things. So the independent a la carte white label solution in a market where everything is a race to the bottom, it just doesn't work because you have manufacturing minimums, right? So you have to do a minimum order of, let's say, 10,000 units. But if your sell-through rate on the distribution side is not high and your inventory sitting, when you go to then do the next batch, if you have to do a manufacturing minimum of 10,000 units, but the distributor only wants to buy 3,000 units because your sell-through rate isn't there, well, then what do? You're stuck in purgatory. Mm-hmm. So learning all of that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Till now we finally got to the level of where we think we are in a beautiful position because we're 100% independent with an almost vertical situation in California.
Sure.
And so learning all that. But besides that,
right,
we needed to create something that was revenuing, but also gave back, but also had impact and was also different.
Yeah.
And that's the Can I Get a Second Chance and Level Up Cannabis Career Conference.
And that comes from, again, the experience that you had being in the system, serving your time, coming out. And for you had this entrepreneurial spirit where you got into wherever it is you needed to get to, but not everyone has that mindset, right? And so you guys are now offering an opportunity to be able to do that, essentially, right? And so,
teach a fish. We believe at 40 Tons that we should teach people how to fish and not just give them fish. So what do? We give them opportunity. We bring education. We bring experts in specific fields to help teach those skill sets that are needed in order to excel. If we're going to stop recidivism, we need to create opportunity.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense for us to get someone out of jail for them to go right back to jail.
Yeah.
So how do we stop that? With education and opportunity. And you bring both of those together in an experiential way, and now people want to change. Now people want to learn things.
Yeah.
And so that's what the career conferences do. And then obviously all the media opportunities and all the impressions and all the vanity metrics and all that kind of stuff to help grow the brand. Other brands want a piece of that and a part of that.
Yeah.
And so we've built something that we believe is unique. If you go to most of these conferences like MJ BizCon, NECAN, MJ Impact, Benzinga Cannabis, all great conferences, but they're business development and sales, right? Rightfully so.
Sure.
But when's the last time people have gone to a career conference? Most people go to career fairs.
Right.
Career fairs are boring. But the Danny Palenkos of the world don't go to career fairs because he's already got a job making $120,000 a year, right?
Be nice, but yeah.
But you get my point. The Danny Palenkos of the world want to up their level, up their game. So they'll go to a career conference before they go to a career fair.
Yeah.
So we wanted to create this career fair, career conference that was experiential, gave you game and opportunity.
And on these conferences, are you guys providing, like, is there workshops going on?
Dude,
is it like a regular? And it's funny that you bring this up because I was just talking to my brother about conferences. He just went. He's in therapy, not therapy, like educational, like I can't think of the right term, but I know he works with children, and he went to his first conference this past weekend, and he's posting these videos of like him sitting in a room, and from there, I text him, and I was like, I bet you these fools are only like reading off the slides, right? And he's like, that's exactly what they're fucking doing,
bro.
Right? But it goes on to like say like, I used to go to a lot of conferences, and conferences is big business,
huge,
right? Big business. And so I asked that question of like, do you guys provide workshops? Because you mentioned this is another revenue stream for you guys. Is that the approach of like providing workshops for individuals that are coming into the space, along with opportunities for careers?
Excellent question. Our career conferences are experiential. We understand that if we don't provide an experience, no one's going to want to go to them.
Yeah.
Not only do they have workshops, but we have an expungement clinic. We have free headshots from a professional photographer for your professional platforms. We have clothing, professional attire for those that can't afford it. We bring in barbers to cut your hair so that you could feel clean and good when you're going on these interviews.
Yeah.
We bring out companies all throughout the industry, ancillary, plant touching, non-plant touching, professional services, actually hiring. We bring out guest speakers of big names in the industry so that you could get knowledge from them.
Right.
Just introduced, we're doing skills-based learning. So other than just a lecture on a topic, we're actually going to be doing things where you can use your hands to actually learn something. So everything's going to be super experiential, along with putting all the colors on it, all the banners, all the marketing, all the media, all the podcasting, all the videography, and making it really, really experiential so that someone would want to pay $200 for a ticket, just like you pay, $800
right, for one of those conferences. And that's dope because like you said, even in those conferences when I used to go to like the educational conferences, there were some breakout sessions and breakout rooms where it was like, the first example I have was like how to bring play into the group, right? And the workshop was having different activities for the kids. And so like the class wasn't a lecture, it was how to do Play-Doh,
and that's
so that
why
you can bring that up. Right. Well, not just the kids. This is for the adults, right? It's a conference for the adults, but they're gaining activity knowledge so that they could take back to the classroom.
Got you.
So the fact that you guys are now doing like these, how to like build out a labeling schedule process as a workshop, and you're making that a hands-on. And if that isn't something that you've thought about it, then put that together, right? Like put that down where you're creating not only the lecture of what that scheduling process looks like, or creating the SOP, but actually putting the SOP to use in that workshop, which would be beneficial. Like we touched on on the first half of the episode, it's based off experiences, right? Like you learn on experience, and if you can provide that in a workshop, that's gonna help the next person.
100%. And that's what our conferences are all about. So that if we scale this thing nationwide, we want to be known as the career conference that you go to, because we want entrepreneurs to come out. We want mid-career and C-suite executives to come out. We want those individuals to come out. We're not just only trying to go after the entry-level folks. We don't want just entry-level. Entry-level is how we get in the industry, but we need to be promoted. If we're going to bring generational wealth to a group that's been generationally displaced, i.e. the people that have been convicted over this plant, then we need to create opportunities. We need to create education, and we need to give them not just entry-level opportunities, but leveling up. Yeah. And so that's what the Level Up Cannabis Career Conference is about. It's about leveling you up so that we can go from that, bud tender to now general manager, to now regional manager, to now VP, to now you got to give me some equity.
That's right. That's right, man.
So we're blessed, man, and we love what we do. And, there's no compliance when it comes to career conferences.
Yeah. What's the do you guys have one coming up, or what's the timeline look like for that?
So our next one's going to be in Chicago on June 19th, Juneteenth, and we're doing it at the Malcolm X College. Okay. We've taken over the entire events center there. It's going to be our first event that is at a convention center level style event.
Nice.
Typically we've been in like community center buildings,
okay,
your YMCA type stuffs, you know. Now
yeah.
we've bumped it up and we're now in the building of like where a NECAN would be or an MJ Unpacked would be or something of that level. And so it's going to be awesome. We've got a lot of great partnerships. GTI, their Good Green program. Good Green is our title sponsor, and it's going to be awesome. Like we got a lot of great opportunities, and you know, we want to push equity brands. We want to push the brands that need the help.
Nice, that's dope, man. Aside from the Chicago upcoming event,
anything else?
This episode's set to drop around 420, right? So do you guys have anything around the 420? You know, timeline that folks should be on the lookout? You know, where can they find the products?
Yes.
For any promos that you may have going on that, you know, this week? What does that look like for you guys as a brand? And where can folks find you guys?
So definitely April 1st is our next event that we have. We're doing that in New Jersey with the African American Chamber of Commerce. We're doing a small career fair. It's really their event, but they brought 40 tons in to kind of help with the strategic alignment, the SOPs, and the different things like what you were talking about, because we're now known as like the career fair people, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to be in New Jersey. That's in Jersey City at St. Peter's on April 1st. As far as 420 is concerned, I personally will be in Germany. I work with a company called Ritzy. And Ritzy is a tech platform for writers and coaches, and basically unlocks revenue for job boards outside of the cannabis industry. So I'll actually be in Germany on the physical day of 420. However, L'Oreal and Corvain will be supporting different events that are happening. I believe Corvain will be up in the Bay supporting Evelyn LaChapelle's 87 months event that's going on up in the Bay on 422. And then L'Oreal, I believe, has an event that we got invited to down here as well. I forget the name of it. Products. Yes, we will be in a lot of stores by 420. We have our new products coming out the first week of April. Our two big stores in Los Angeles right now that are going to be carrying our products is Catalyst Normandy.
Okay.
That's on Normandy and 83rd, and 64 and Hope. So we definitely want to support those two businesses. Those are both equity dispensaries.
Yep.
And then, you know, for anybody that wants to carry our product, you know, we have a really good competitive product that we are now doing, because now we're controlling the supply chain.
Right.
And I think it's going to be awesome. So you can do that. And then we got products in New York. So by 420, we'll have our products in New York.
Okay.
And then we got products working on in Maryland and in Missouri at the moment. So we should hopefully have deals solidified by 420.
Nice,
but
man.
LA and New York, or California and New York for sure,
are done, sealed, ready to go.
Yes.
Yes. Congrats to you, man, with everything that has, you know, gone on with you, your family, the brand. You know, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of guts, man. So I want to just give you your flowers for just everything that has came your way, and you've just took it on and with strides in your life, man. So I appreciate you, man. For real, it's like, I really want to give you your flowers for that, bro, while you're here in my presence, to like show you that like shit can be done, you know, and so I appreciate you for everything that you're doing, brother.
Man, thank you for that, bro. I really appreciate you, man. You know, smooth seas don't make skillful sailors, and the journey is the reward. So we always have to remember that while we're going through these trials and tribulations and processes and ups and downs, just remember that it's the journey that's the reward, because we get something called experience. Yeah. And there is no losses, just lessons.
Right.
Right. And so I've had to go through all these lessons. I've had to go through all these different, you know, situations, but it's made me who I am today. And the people that have helped me along the way, the people that were in my life at various levels, from teachers, coaches, business partners, business associates, random passerbyers, they all played a role, and I'm thankful for it. And, you know, I've made a lot of mistakes, and you know, I own those mistakes, and just continue learning, man.
Yeah, for sure. We close out by giving out shout outs to anyone. Is there anyone you want to shout out? Now's the time, bro.
Man, there's a lot of people I want to shout out, but I definitely want to give a big shout out to Corvain Cooper. That's my bro. You know, you've been in my life for almost 28 years now, and so you know it's to the moon. I want to give a shout out to L'Oreal. She's an incredible person. She's held me down through all the bullshit. I want to give a shout out to my children. They make me who I am. I'm very thankful for them. I want to give another big shout out to Brandon Mitchell and everybody at the Brand Resumes and Rightsy team for giving me an opportunity. And I want to thank all of the folks from, you know, Hemper. Right, Hemper was huge in helping us out. To Sunset Connect, to Herbal, to Twin Fish, to Ron Leggett, to you know, Good Day Farms, to you know, to HPI Canna, to Remedy in Maryland, to you know, just all the different people that have given us an opportunity. Owl's Oil, you know, there's just so many people that have helped us out. AVO Brands, big shout out NACAP Pros. NACAP Pros is the accounting people. You should definitely look into them for all things accounting and financial stuff. And Miss Jane Accounting, you know, all the free services that we receive from so many people like PR and Zoe Wilder and all the different things that we wouldn't be where we're at if it wasn't for those people that gave us an opportunity and gave us a push. Urban Aroma, Zach and Seth, Camille over at WeMaps, said over at WeMaps, like just all these different people that just supported us. It's been a blessing, man. And please forgive me if I forgot to mention your name, because there's so many people that have helped us. Jeff Welsh, our attorney, Jeff Welsh from Vicente. Oh my goodness, without that dude, we would be lost. So we always want to pay thanks to those, but you put me on the spot, so I couldn't remember all of them. But I'm thankful for all of those people that have given us an opportunity, even the ones that broke bad. You know, they taught us lessons that we never would have been able to get without that.
For sure.
And so I think, yeah, that's it. I got one more shout out. I want to shout out, you know, the guys over at Saucy, which is, you know, Alex Todd and them. You know, they gave us a lot of game too, and you know, really getting those mentors to really teach us the different things, and watching how other people did it is truly a blessing, because we get to see what they did so that we could use their blueprint.
Nice, man. Thank you for that, bro. And
shout out you too, bro.
Thank you. And as always, I give my shout outs to my 3 girls, Dalia, Faith, Rosie. I love you, girls.
That's right.
And shout out to That's Filthy for producing, as always.
That's filthy.
Ooh,
that might be a drop.
That might be the drop right there. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Said Connects. Follow us on Instagram at CED_connects. Follow 40 Ton as well. Make sure to hit that. Is that 40 Tons?
Brand. 40 Tons brand. 40TONS brand across all platforms.
There you go. Make sure to hit them up, follow them, subscribe. And until then, we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Much love, everybody.
Shoosh.
And that's a wrap. Cut.
Oh, that's filthy.